Good day, everyone, and welcome to Obedient Family TV, the program that Hope Alive. Yes, Hope Day for those that believe that a new Nigeria is possible. My reminder now, for those people who don't believe, if you talk, say you want Japa, $20,000 legally, now the thing where you need to travel out. And if you know they earn 1 million naira per month in Nigeria, make you no dream say the Japa go everywhere. So we day here. And it is better we look at what is happening in Nigeria today. On a good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever on a day. Depending on our time zone, we won't come again with the things we say they happen for Nigeria. Abuja don't begin to boil. Boiling as in hot. The hunger will be saying, they reach Abuja, it don't begin to hit them straight on forward. This morning we tell on how the thing they take happen for Ibadan or your state. But we don't see say the thing don't escalate, enter the city where we say, then talk say, then they protect well, it don't enter. So we go bring that one come. Then we go carry the one where we say, the son of Chief Bola Tinubu, where we Seyi Tinubu, don't they display to Nigerians 550,000 worth of wristwatch? Do the calculation at 1,500 naira per dollar. Then you know the amount. You go to the comment section, you tell us what it means. He's telling Nigerians that they should endure hunger. Endure hunger. We go bring on the kind backlash where Nigerians give them back to back. The boss are where they give them. We'll carry that one come. And not only me go talk all these things, I get the vibe for studio.
Thank you for joining us this evening. You're welcome to today's show.
So as you just they join us wherever you there, beg make your like and share so that other obedience go know say Obedient Family TV don't come. Now the better information now would always bring come. So make you not for like, no forget, just give thumbs up. Now the support where you feel give us this very time. So make we start go straight to the point of waiting to happen. Before we get to the talk about the protests where they erupt everywhere, make we even discuss Seyi Tinubu. The guy will be saying Papa don't overreach to the extent in go the display waiting in carry for body and waiting in carry for head for Nigerians to envy. But he go say make Nigerians know no fear, make them they pray according to Mama and Pastor Adeboye. Also, all of them join body, say make we they pray and make we they hold on to the hunger, but then go they display. Make we just start with waiting Nigerians tell them in different places where we say So let's start with that. So as we can see in this very one, we have these other people who say, what job does he do to afford a $500,000 watch? I say make una do the calculation of how much this very particular wristwatch where would they talk be. Person where talk say make we hold on, make we they manage the hunger where they in Nigeria. Then we get in Gigi, who says that with the increased level of hunger in the land, if Seyi Tinubu dares to enter the streets unguarded, he will pay dearly on behalf of his father's harsh policies. That one, the small ones where we come on. So now I come back to studio Divine. You see the kind of hopelessness when Nigerians don't enter. Then talk say then they give them hope, but we don't see say hopelessness. But the major thing is that Nigerians are not happy and are giving it back to him. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, we've seen what's going on. This young man right here is wearing over $500,000 on his wrist, wearing a Richard Mille watch, and he's typing hardship and telling us that it is sad that Nigerians are in this situation and all of that. Even while going through the post, his Instagram post earlier today, a lot of Nigerians have trooped in to like say their mind. Some of the comments read, the most painful part is that this nigga has a Richard Mille on his wrist while typing hardship. Another person says, "Na expired thunder go fire you, and that's your endurance." Asheri. It's just a lot of diverse reactions going on. People have been pouring out their grievances, and it's just sad to see because we could see the wristwatch on the screen, very expensive, meant for people who have worked hard and hard enough to afford such you know, outrageous amount of money. But this man right here, we can see him, you know, just, he's the last person that should speak to us about hardship and hunger, because from the looks of it, he's obviously not on the receiving end of this, you know,
the point
suffering.
is, even where is he working? What job does Seyi Tinubu do? He's flying private jets.
I mean, he's the president's son, and you know, in this part of the world, that's enough occupation to be able to afford such luxury, right? We don't need to see any. If he's a random person now, EFCC, they'll send him on EFCC on his tail to go and start, you know, figuring out the source of his wealth. But we can see somebody that we have no record of his, you know, work or, you know, whatever, or profession, and he's splurging money all over the town, and it's okay just because he's the president's son. And as usual, they're singing the same sad old song of, you know, pray and be patient. Oh
yes, we have this one coming from Adewale. I said, do you expect something differently from him? Awolo Nikan, but what is hard for them in making things easier for the citizens? Now, like this Daura mannequin wasted 8 years doing literally nothing. We have another one from God's Will Alone, who says that asking what his father have to offer than to go sleeping around like a baby. What is the father sleeping at the AU conference? Well, all these ones are the reactions. Let's take some reactions from people on the streets who are protesting that they have seen so much. This one said the FCC know they see them probe, but when it comes to Yahoo boys, they will see them flexing their muscle. Omo, if you get funds, Japa, oh, this country is irredeemable. Well, this Japa thing now I talked before. I talk say, if you want to Japa, the thing be say you know if you Japa again for this Tinubu regime. Why? Because to Japa legally, whether in Canada you won't go this thing, at least it requires about $20,000 US. Now, for you to work and get $20,000 US, I need you to do the calculation. You must be making like 1 million naira per month in Nigeria. What jobs give you 1 million naira when they are limiting 30,000 naira to what do they call it? Minimum wage of 30,000. And by the way, minimum wage of 30,000, I have this guy from Channels who actually showed us what it will look like. The 30,000 naira, what it can buy you in Nigeria of today. Let's take a listen.
Good morning. Please come over. I want to show you something. The minimum wage in Nigeria today is 30,000 naira. That's just less than $20. And they say that 60% of our income is spent on food, right? So if you were to go to the market with 18,000 naira, that's 60% of 30,000 naira, this is what you get. You get one of these. That's vegetable oil. We all need that. Well, butter. It's important. Then let's say you get milk, the chocolates. Imagine to eke out 2 sticks of pasta, sugar. We need milk and this. And we'll maybe add a tuber of yam and then a paint bucket of gari, and that is it. That's all for one person. It wouldn't last you days. Imagine if you were a family of 3 or 4 or 5. That is the situation of a lot of people today. But that's on the one hand. On the other hand, we're seeing the NGX doing some numbers. We're seeing exporters making some record money. Cocoa exporters last week did some record. We're seeing people cutting deals and the rest. So what exactly is wrong? Are we not transferring the wealth as we ought to? Whatever happened to Ubuntu? I'm not talking about the operating system.
That is what 30,000 naira, which is the current minimum wage now we get you. It goes beyond that and on. So you can imagine who earns 1 million naira that can over time accumulate money to Japa. For those of you who want to actually leave this country legally, then we look at some things that is also happening. People keep talking about this Japa, they keep talking about the minimum wage, and we also know reports coming in from ASU is saying about 40-something professors have died of hardship in Nigeria. And those professors, from what we know, they are earning about 400 and something thousand, yet they are dying.
Well, I mean, as a professor earning 400 and something thousand, let's make an average. You know, Nigeria is a country where majority of the people there give birth to more than 3 children, right? So let's just make an average of children. If you have 4 children, with the current rates of inflation and everything going on in the country, 400,000 can really do nothing for you. By the time you add feeding, accommodation, and, you know, day-to-day expenses, you realize that 400,000 is nothing to write home about when you're talking about fending for an entire family. And that's why, you know, it's no surprise here that people are, you know, dying. These are just the ones that were documented because they were professors. Picture what it is like for the everyday man, the common man who doesn't even have access to that 400,000 on the street. Some of them are just, you know, living life from hand to mouth, and these people out here flaunting, you know, over $500,000 just on their wrist, and then they're telling us to calm down and just, you know, pray. They are
urging Nigerians to, you know, calm down on the hunger strike and all of that. Again, recall that what is happening now is just, we've learned about the fuel tankers that want to go on strike that is going to affect the overall, where it's going to affect even the farmers. Because if they don't have fuel, they cannot move to their farms. You understand? So we plead with them to actually see what they can do about this very particular strike. Then we see strike that is going to come to ASU. So for students who don't want to come out right now or call the government out right now, it's going to hit them. It started with Michael Opala that we know of, and we know what happened over there. So it's going to go on and on and on until it touches you. If you are in Nigeria and you think it's not going to touch you, you are joking. It's going to touch you. Let's have some sound bite from people on the streets who are protesting in different parts of this country. But let's start with Abuja.
So we dey outside, you believe. You'd say we no go turn up, but see am now, people don't come outside now. You didn't whine. Why not they do like that? This country, see now, see. Come out and protest. It's your rights. Come out and protest. It's your fucking damn rights. What they do like that? They for us, they sleep, they lay. You be far away the leg for us. You know, come out. I'm gonna collect them, and then they see what they have. We are live. You know good. The thing we say, I know they see life in my house and they increase their party every day. What's happening? What did happen? Why will we follow? We are maintaining one road. All the security team, the security committee, please make your people why we follow now. So the driver, nobody to drive. See, we are
we are hungry in this Nigeria. The hunger is too much. We cannot afford this again. We can't afford this again. Even though my children they are hungry, even me too. To feed my family is very dangerous. It's very hard. And in some houses, it's woman that is taking care of the family. You will take care of your husband since you have married him. And there's no money, there's nothing you can do. You will feed that man and the children. But to do that one time is very difficult, very hard. We don't know what to do again. We don't know what to do again.
So how do you see the protest?
I love it, so it should be continued until government finds solution to it.
Hi, my name is Eniola, popularly known as Diamond. I've been working with this hospital since last year, and I don't know why. I got to the hospital and he told me to leave. He told me to leave without paying my salary. I have called called him severally. I called and called and called. He did not pick my calls. And I sent a text message. I can show you the text message I sent. I sent a text message. Yes, he did not reply my salary. He did not reply my messages. And he kept telling people that he's not going to pay me. That's one reason why I came here. Initially, I didn't want to say anything about it. I was waiting like he will pay me later. But he kept telling people that he's not going to pay me. He's not going to pay me at all. The salary is seeking him money, it's 30,000 naira that he's not paying me. And please, Governor President Tinubu, please help us stop this hardship. Please, for God's sake, there is no money to buy 100,000 naira bag of rice. We cannot go to the market to spend 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 naira to buy food stuff. It's just chicken that you bring home. Please help us, so beg in the name of God. And please, I'm here again.
Everything comes from right. They will get their opinions. And they cannot say because we are hard today, we must not allow every other Nigerians to exercise their constitutional duty. Section 34, 39 and 40 empowers every Nigerian to organize a peaceful assembly and to speak about the economic hardship. On this note, this is not today's own. We are starting, this is just a start. It's a continuous action. Expect protest from any angle. It must not be me. It can be you. It is everybody, because the problem does not only affect only me, neither it affects everyone. So on this note, every Nigerian, whether up and abroad, anywhere you find yourself, if you have the capacity, organize, we will be there for you. If anybody stops you, we will come for your rescue. It is a duty which we are signing for, and we must collectively fight for our liberation. Enough of this hike in our cost of living. No, we cannot afford to eat. It is.
So people now feel protest, but let's make sure that it is non-violent and that the protest is done in a very organized manner, so that they will not talk, say, oh, I don't begin to look for trouble. The report where they reach us now say even Lagos State government, they don't fear about Lekki Toll Gate NSAS issue again. Say they don't carry armed policemen go put for Lekki Toll Gate as we they talk now. Whether those armed policemen now to go there go begin to make people who say they do hunger strike, make them know carry the protest reach for that Lekki Toll Gate. We go put our ears to the ground, watching what is really going on in Lagos. But while we are talking about this, we can see that David Hundeyin has already looked at this very issue that I was talking about. And this is a tweet from David Hundeyin. He said, assuming you need an average of 20,000 to emigrate legally, someone earning 1 million a month in Nigeria can no longer afford to leave Nigeria. For those people where they said in one Japan, now they bring this one come. He said, which is not a sentence I ever thought I would write. But yeah, amazing stuff. So, and then we have different people who are also making the calculation that we talked about. They say 30 million, that will be 3 years. And David said in that 3 years, the exchange rate will be, you know what that will be. So let's get away from this very place and then look at other things that many people are saying. He said, if the government continues like this and they are not listening to the cry of the people about hunger, starvation, and all these things that are going on. And talking about the full crisis coming on that is looming, that we're actually pleading for them not to undertake because it's going to touch the masses massively. Right. I just heard that there was one of their president of the Tankers Association actually come to say that they are negotiating with the federal government to see if they can be able to probably subsidize or maybe grease their palms so that these things will work out, because that is how it works in Nigeria. Let's take a listen to him while we come back for the discussion.
Efforts to speak with the president of NATO and what's coming out of that?
Well, so far, I was expecting to get a feedback from him. I didn't get that, but as far as Petron knows, NATO has a justifiable reason to have served the notice. The only concern we have is that we do not want to add more difficulty already overburden Nigerians in different ways, different climes. So I'm hoping that something positive will come out of that discussion, and at least there will be some reprieve to get back to work and to call back that that notice.
What kind of reprieve do you see that could, I mean, you agree with them that, I mean, when we look at the price of diesel, which is the number one on their list, what kind of reprieve do you see coming? Because already we're talking of subsidy, and we do have subsidy according to World Bank, and from calculations, there's already subsidy in existence. So where does the reprieve come from at this time?
Well, the reality is that diesel prices are high. Yes, that is true. But much more than diesel prices is the cost of maintaining trucks. Maintaining cost, even just the vehicles you use, the cost to maintain them are getting out of over the roof. So what NATO is complaining about is correct. How much are you going to pay? Are you going to pay your drivers pittance, and then are you going to use substandard materials to repair your vehicles? That will even give more difficulty to the situation where you expect a product to leave Port Harcourt and arrive at Abuja maybe in 3 days, and then it takes about 2 weeks because of bad parts, that you have used to maintain your vehicle. And these are getting so expensive every day. So yes, there is a general reason why that concern should be addressed. But we need to move as fast as possible to give Nigeria a peace of mind and be able to go about their businesses to grow even the economy. So that's why we will support them.
On Dr. Billy, we be saying I'm be patron boss. Then coming back, I always say we plead with them not to go into this their tanker strike, because it's not just going to affect their gas. They will always have access to their fuel, to the gas. They will have access to it, and there is not going to be a blackout in the villa anyway. So it's going to affect the ordinary man who is shouting hunger already in the street. So please, if not to grease on a hand, make una go, make them grease on a hand. If na make una for do this thing, whatever thing we una want do with them, make una do. I'll be waiting be your own thinking.
Well, speaking of which, we need to do more than just pleading with them so they don't go on the strike, because diesel currently retails at I think 1,250 naira, approximately 1.3, right? And it's just sad to see, because how much diesel is needed for you to fuel such a powerhouse truck, or a truck that's going to convey, thousands of liters of petrol to different parts of the country, right? And he also raised the issue of maintaining the trucks, the cost of maintaining the trucks. And we know that the roads are not good, and so the roads also contributes to the fact that every time they need to maintain the trucks, because I mean, we see what is going on, and that is why the Association of Petrol outlets, retail outlets in Nigeria are actually supporting them. We hope that there's something that is done, because currently price fuel is retailing at 600 naira. If they go on this strike, we can tell that this thing is about to skyrocket greatly, and it's just going to be to the detriment of the common man, because like you said earlier, it's not going to affect the ruling class, because I mean, they have their ways. So we're just hoping that they get something done. I don't support bribery or whatever, but whatever measures that can be taken to avoid them going on this strike, it will be appreciated by we at the lower end of this bargain, because we have no other way to run to.
Bribe is normal thing for them. We don't talk this thing. No be say make we begin to hide them. Bribe is normal thing for them. They like anything. When we say grease arm, palm, and all of that, it's normal thing for them. Even the people who are civil servants that are shouting, if you go there, you want small something to be done. Even the professors we keep talking about, it is the same professors that go to rig election having collected bribe. You understand?
Right.
They are the ones that are being sent for collation and all of those stuff that INEC does. They're the one that rigs election. But anyway, be it as it may, what are your comments or your opinion on Seyi Tinubu coming to tell Nigerians or urging Nigerians to hold back on their hunger strikes, while he's displaying a wristwatch that is above 500,000 US dollars. Please do the conversion. Tell us that on the comment section, whether he is qualified to tell Nigerians that the hopelessness that they have found themselves is not caused by his dad. So while we try to make sure that we, at this very point, try to, get the reports that are coming in from the Lagos at the Lekki toll gate about the police that are being sent in that very place. We are also looking at reports coming from Abuja about the ongoing protests in the municipal area that is going through the other areas in Abuja and other areas. So while we go around trying to get this news that is authentic for you, please do us the favor of liking this very video, sharing it as an obedient. That is what you can do. Like we said, the talk we are talking here is not cheap. It's really not cheap. And that reminds me, yesterday, Dele Farotimi, which is one strong obedient, spoke about the talk not being cheap. So we are going to end with his talk. Credit to him as we listen carefully to Dele Farotimi. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe, like.
Is a peaceful, bloodless revolution possible in Nigeria, knowing that the ruling class will not easily relinquish the benefit they enjoy? My consistent argument has been that if you truly want a bloodless revolution, that means that you have found the grace to unite a disparate people. People are no longer thinking in terms of ethnicity, they're not thinking in terms of religiosity. They have come to understand that there are common interests that they need to fight to protect. It is only when you have done that that you can speak to a bloodless revolution. But note this, we desire no bloodshed, but it does not mean that the system will fold its share. People stealing humongous amount of monies without consequences. They are afraid of losing that impunity. They will definitely fight to make sure it does not happen. Look at NSAS. Nobody carried guns. All they had were flags. Flags. It was the most peaceful protest in this country ever. Then the government started shipping in truckloads of thugs in Lagos, in Abuja, in Benin, all over the country. We saw government sponsoring violence against peaceful protesters. And that was before they eventually deployed the murderous soldiers who killed scores, unknown numbers, in broad daylight, in cold blood. So I am not unmindful of the fact that the system would always fight against any change. But that is not to say that we must hold our hands or we must embrace violence, because if we embrace violence, you legitimize the use of violence, which is what the state has always desired. So, understand that yes, we desire peaceful, bloodless revolutions. It does not necessarily mean that the state would allow that to happen. But it is up to us to decide the tactics and methodologies of our struggle. I am sat in my space. I am speaking my truth. The best they can do are the cyber attacks that they have just deployed this morning. Other than that, there is nothing anybody can do to turn a man who is intent on peace into a violent one. The decision to be violent is personal. Nobody is going to force me into a violent struggle. I do not deprecate those who have elected to take up arms against this unjust system. I will not even speak against it. As long as the violence is not visited on fellow citizens who have done nothing to deserve it, business. It is the duty of the state to protect its citizens. Citizens is exactly what we are not. So I will not speak against the right of those who have decided that they must rebel against this unjust system. I do not support violence. I do not believe it is a viable path to our liberation, but I'm not speaking against it. Let us now go into this morning's sermon. Talk is not cheap. Yeah, talk is not cheap. I did put out the scripture earlier on, and it comes from a Yoruba proverb. It says, "Aile sọ̀rọ̀ ni bẹ̀rẹ̀ orí burúkú." Translate that however you want, interpret that however you want, but what it is saying is that the inability to express your angst, your pain, your disagreement with your victimization assures and guarantees your destruction. The silence of the lambs guarantees the slaughter. If the lambs would perhaps bark like dogs, I'm not sure they will be the ones that will be slaughtering. Imagine that the dog, with all the fat that I am told is on the dog, were to be bleating like the lambs. It is dogs that we will be killing. Talk is not cheap. But now let's deal with the substance of it. Understand this. Every time a person seeks dominion over you, and dominion is not something that God gave to any man over another man. You may have lawful authority as a husband of a wife, as a father or mother of a child, but you do not have dominion. If you want to take a scriptural look at this, check generally Genesis 1 from 26, verse 26 to 28. Look at it. God gave man power over everything he created, but he did not give dominion to any man over another man. He gave only authority. You have dominion over the beast of the head, the fish in the waters, the ones that fly, the ones that crawl. He gave dominion, but he did not give dominion to man over man. So when a person demands your silence in the face of your oppression, what he seeks is to keep you quiet whilst he does whatever he cares to do with you. The purpose of police brutality at any point, the total absence of law governing the actions of those who should be law enforcement officers, is symptomatic of an environment where the people in control desires the silence of the victims. Talk is not cheap. When you see the press refusing to ask critical questions, refusing to report critical news, self-censoring itself from reporting what is going on across the country, it should tell you that talk is not cheap. The intention at all points in time is to keep you quiet so that you accept the status quo that has enslaved you. Your silence is required to legitimize your enslavement. When you listen to your pastors and your imams telling you to pray for your oppressors, to pray to God to change the evils that are being done by men that are supported by so-called men of God who have become gods of men, understand clearly that it is because talk is not cheap. Those who should be speaking for you, who are enjoined by scripture to speak for the oppressed, the weak, and the afflicted, when they begin to speak strangely and talk about the spiritualization of man's evil, understand they are bought. Talk is not cheap. They have been paid to be silent and to promote your stupefaction. Talk is not cheap. When you see culture being promoted, saying to you, you are not supposed to speak back, it is a lie. I am a Yoruba man. I was raised by the very best of the Yorubas. I grew up with my grandparents, or your people from Fiditi. I got a lot of old men in the house, and I was never silenced, except I had only nonsense to say. When I had something tangible to say, I was encouraged, even as a minor, less than 10 years old, to speak. So when somebody is telling you, keep quiet, you don't speak back to elders, they are lying to you. The Yoruba culture, I can't speak to any other culture, but I do know that the Yoruba culture is reflective of the Igbo culture, Ijaw culture, African cultures are generally mirrors of each other. There is nothing in our culture that silences the youth in the face of the oppression or evil of those who are older or are in power. The Yorubas will say, that is to say, that it is not the sole prerogative of the old to be wise. It is up to you to speak. Do not allow them to use culture or tradition to silence you. It is evil. Talk is not cheap. Those who have elected to keep quiet are well paid for their silences. They have compromised and sold your interest, and that is why they are quiet, and they are encouraging you to look away from telling the truth of what you see or speaking to the afflictions that you feel. Talk is not cheap. When you hear them talking about the regulation of social media, understand very clearly that the only reason that agitates them is because you have taken the media afforded by technology to break the monopoly of news cycle that has been compromised by the system. All of a sudden, I don't need a TV station to speak to you. I can speak to you and you can walk away with the truth, or you can point to the lies that I might tell. That is because we have been empowered. So when you hear them talking about regulating social media, it is because talk is not cheap. Talk is important. It is actually a precursor to your freedom. Yorubas will say, it is with your mouth that you reject what you don't want. If you keep quiet and they are feeding you what you don't want, that's the end. Talk is not cheap. If talk were to be cheap, they will not be looking to regulate social media. There is hardly any oppressive government in the world. There is none, actually. There is no oppressive government in the world that will seek to regulate social media. Reality of the fact is that there are enough laws on our books to regulate conduct, whether that be on social media or that be in the physical space. There are laws on libel, whether that be criminal libel or civil libel. So when somebody is saying they want to regulate social media, what they are saying is that they want to design your gag so that you may not speak. Why do they want you silent? Talk is not cheap. When you see the weaponization of ignorance, where it is TVC that is giving you your news, it is The Nation that you are reading to be informed, you understand, or should understand very quickly, that this is intended to perpetuate your silence or to get you to speak only in the terms that the system prefers. Talk is not cheap. Get this clear. Your capacity to speak as to the objective reality of your existence is important in the task of finding your liberation. Talk is not cheap. Talk is actually very expensive, and I'll come to that very soon. Your silence is meant to deepen the stupefaction of the people, because the more silent you are, the more you acquiesce in your own enslavement. Silence signifies acquiescence. It simply means that you are happy with your state of being. Your silence enslaves you. It guarantees and perpetuates the oppression. Now, the system will tell you that you should be quiet. Let me tell you something. Omoyele Sowore is a very good example when we talk about talk not being cheap. Agbajalingo is another good example. Everybody who has spoken against this system, whether that be in history, such as Delegiwa, who was killed, he was killed only because he spoke. He wasn't contesting any office. Sowore has been chased around, imprisoned, because he's been speaking. The only reason He had been a victim of this system since 2019, yeah. It's because he spoke against the system. If he had not spoken against the system, nothing would have happened to him. Fela was handed to death simply because he spoke. Gani Fawehinmi was handed to death simply because he spoke. Those who used to speak yesterday and are not speaking today or are speaking double-mouthed is because they are eating. The system has found ways to compromise them because talk is not cheap. Don't let anybody tell you that lie. Talk is not cheap. Your victimization is guaranteed by your silence. Talk is not cheap. You need to speak. Let others know exactly what you feel. Take the time to reflect. Think about what you are going to say. Be careful not to slander anyone but refuse to be silenced. Talk is not cheap.